I'm Britton Clennett and welcome to China Insight, where we discuss the latest issues affecting this rapidly changing country. Well, over the past decade, China's blossoming relationship with Hollywood has visibly altered the global entertainment industry. Co-productions between the two sides are on the rise, with Chinese companies like Wanda and Alibaba eager to get on the movie-making bandwagon. But with China's box office receipts fast catching up to the US, we ask if China will outgrow its partners in the West. I'm joined by director and producer Fan Wang, who's worked on co-productions between China and other countries for more than 12 years. Welcome to the program.
It's my pleasure to be here with you.
What is a co-production?
We have several requirements on co-production. The first one, we need Chinese investment in it, and 1/3 Chinese actor or actress in it, and also we need Chinese elements in the storylines, and we need Chinese location in it. Then the film will be co-production. This is our definition. But you know, actually, I prefer to say that you just focus on the story. Focus on the project.
A key player in the co-production world is Hollywood. Another key player is, of course, China. These two sides over the last decade have been working very closely together. How do you view this relationship? What's your take?
I think the co-production is a really good opportunity for us, both sides, to join together to do good film for the world. So I think co-production is a really good chance for Hollywood to come into China and for Chinese international market.
Okay, well, this cultural exchange is something that comes up in the following report. We look into the relationship between China and Hollywood a little closer. Let's take a look.
Hollywood, a name synonymous with glitz, glamour, and a history of cinema that dates back to the early 20th century. They say there's no business like show business. And rising in the East is an interest in learning the tricks of the trade. For Hollywood, that means open Chinese checkbooks. Over the last decade, this courtship between China and Hollywood has caught the eye of film industry analysts, eager to find out how the love affair will unfold. With China set to overtake the US as the world's biggest film market, one question in particular resonates. Will the Middle Kingdom one day outgrow Hollywood? The curtain is raised on their relationship at events like this, the Beijing International Film Festival. It's an opportunity to celebrate China's domestic film industry and attract stars, producers and filmmakers from Hollywood who are willing to tap into the country's huge potential audience.
So it's events like this where you've got big stars like Natalie Portman attending, but it's also prime time between industry insiders in Hollywood and right here in Beijing.
On the surface, it looks like schmoozing and shoulder rubbing, but in the case of Hollywood and China, the stakes are high, and two willing sides can be brought to the negotiating table quickly. Over the past few years, Chinese investment in Hollywood has been picking up momentum, with media and internet companies rallying round to acquire Hollywood assets. In 2014, Chinese private equity group Honey Capital invested in STX Entertainment, and in June this year, US-Chinese group Tang Partners brought Hollywood studio Global. Co-financing deals have also been struck between production companies in Hollywood and Jack Ma's Alibaba. One of the biggest players has been Dalian Wonder Group, which made the boldest leap into the Hollywood market earlier this year, when it bought a controlling share of legendary East for $3.5 billion. Wonder also owns movie theatre chain AMC.
What can you learn from Hollywood?
Well, a lot, a great deal. See, I just produced, we 100% financed a US film last year. It's called Southpaw, okay? And acting as an executive producer, we are putting up the money for this film, partly because of the investment. It's a good investment, and also mostly because we want to learn the whole process, from how they negotiate the deal and how they greenlight a project. Most importantly, how they manage a production and then distribute worldwide and make the film travel the whole world. And that's something that we should keep learning and keeping our eyes open for that.
Indeed, while Wonder, along with other Chinese companies, is investing in Hollywood, it's aware of the industry potential in its own backyard. China's sheer population alone makes it the potential cash cow of the film industry. Judging by the latest box office receipts, it won't be long before the Middle Kingdom becomes the world's biggest film market. In the first quarter of this year, China's box office revenue surged 50%. That's in line with rises seen last year. If that trend continues, the projected total revenue in China for the year will be $10 billion. Over in the US, currently the world's biggest market, total revenue last year from ticket sales hit $11 billion. China is closing in, and analysts predict that it could exceed the US market by as early as next year. That means it's a hot market to watch, and Hollywood has made no secret of the fact that it wants a slice of the pie.
These are all new theaters. They're being built at 5,000 or 10,000 theaters a year, and this is virtually a brand new experience. So it is a great time to make movies in China, and it's a great time to see movies in China.
This co-production film industry is really big business. I mean, there are companies that deal only with co-productions. You've got legal companies, technology companies, firms that deal with merchandising and production. So really, if you're a Hollywood filmmaker that wants to work in China or release a film in China, all your needs are technically covered, at a cost, of course.
One of the benefits of working with a Chinese distributor is it helps boost your chances of clinching one of the 34 slots allocated to foreign films that can be shown in China each year.
Extinction.
Even if the price is right, striking a deal can mean negotiating over the content of a movie as well.
Co-production is very hard to achieve a successful one, because you have to realize in China co-production means that not only co-finance, but also you need to have 1/3 of the actor paid by Chinese actor or actress, and you need to have Chinese element, and sometimes you need to shoot location here in China.
That was the case for 2012 movie Looper, a co-production between Los Angeles-based Endgame Entertainment and China's DMG. It was decided that Chinese actress Xu Qing would be cast in the film as Bruce Willis's love interest, and part of the movie would be set in Shanghai.
I'm going to France.
You should go to China.
I'm going to France.
I'm from the future. You should go to China.
Critics argue that trying to please both a Chinese and Western audience can come at a cost to the story itself. Bridging the cultural divide remains the biggest hurdle.
So what has happened, obviously, is Chinese companies have taken a slightly different strategy, which is to make investment in Western films. What we've also seen is Western films that have made Chinese elements a little, somewhat randomly, somewhat for the purpose of making it appealing or palatable in China. I think Chinese audiences don't really want that particularly. I think when they see those elements being put together in that way, it's not exactly the essence or the soul of what they're after, which is purely having Chinese stories being told.
I can see recently that a lot of Chinese companies, like big companies like Wonder or other companies, trying to acquire Hollywood companies. We probably have a different take. We do not want to just make a East meets West movie. We want to discover young talent here, and we want to find interesting project that intrigue and connect the audience here.
In search of new talent, Carrie Wong joined a panel of judges for a competition at the Beijing Film Festival. 4 young Chinese directors were given 20 minutes to pitch their story idea to the judges. In the end, it was 27-year-old Leila Ji from Shenyang and her film that won the judges over. Her prize was a trip to Hollywood and a filmmaking training course sponsored by the Motion Picture Association of America.
Now I see, just from a personal experience, there are a lot of opportunities right now. So companies start to actually realize in the long-term process it's actually important to start investing in young filmmakers and help them grow. A lot of the filmmakers right now in around my age had the education background from like either the States or England, or they came from abroad. but they also have this Chinese culture inside them.
Layla told us about a Chinese film she and a group of other young directors were helping to promote. The Song of the Phoenix follows the relationship between the master and apprentice of the suona, an ancient instrument faced in modern China. The art house film was directed by fourth-generation director Wu Tianming, who died in 2014, shortly after post-production. Despite acclaim from critics, the movie tanked during its debut, earning just $236,000 in its first 3 days.
A lack of funding meant that The Song of the Phoenix had to delay its release date until early May. It was the same day that Captain America, the Hollywood blockbuster, opened in Chinese cinemas. After just a fortnight, the Disney-backed film had earned $150 million at the box office here, eclipsing the art house film.
Chinese cinema market is still in the early development stage. Many theaters are newly built up. So many cinema theater managers are still lack of experience. They just simply listen to the news medium to see who have a bigger scale promotion, who have the star casting. That's why this film really fell into a difficult situation.
Fang Li and his company Laurel Films, whose credits include Lost in Beijing, set about convincing investors to help distribute the movie.
We watched this film together, Son of Phoenix. I turned around, stayed a few minutes to control myself, turned back. Everybody can see, I was in tears. So then we start discuss about, such a wonderful film. We have to do something.
There were like 200 people that I could see in a WeChat group that just started off all volunteers trying to help with the distribution of this project. It's a touching film. I was very inspired by it and I want more people to see it. It's a very simple reason why I wanted to be involved. But I think for all of us, I think there's kind of like this responsibility thing, as a filmmaker ourselves, we want more people to know these kind of films exist.
Fang Li was brought to his knees, literally, during a live stream video broadcast. The respected producer begged theatre managers to give The Song of the Phoenix more screenings. The clip went viral and hit headlines all over the country, and it evoked sympathy over in Hollywood too.
I am urging you to take the opportunity to see this lovely film in theaters as was meant to be seen, and to remember its creator, Wu Tianming, a true giant of cinema.
Chinese audiences responded by buying tickets to see the film. Executives of various cinema chains pledged to increase screenings at their theatres. The film's earnings skyrocketed to $4.4 million, 13 times that of its debut. The fight for The Song of the Phoenix to get a fair go in Chinese theatres became a grassroots movement championing independent cinema itself in a market saturated by commercial offerings.
All the volunteers feel very proud to participate in this action. So this is a part of Chinese cinema history, is the only one time.
It's not just about this one instrument, it's also about the spirit behind it, And this one instrument actually represents all different kinds of art forms, even like, let's say, like art films in China,
Indeed, this was a case of life imitating art. The story of an ancient musical instrument struggling to be heard amid the buzz of the modern world parallels the film's own struggle to get noticed in cinemas. But The Song of the Phoenix success could signal a wider change.
I feel really good about Chinese young audience. Can understand, can be touched by Son of Phoenix. That's the hope of a Chinese market. You have a good audience base.
That has Hollywood producers shuffling their chairs forward with interest. Ironically, Captain America directors Anthony and Joe Russo are now setting up Anthem Pictures, which will produce Chinese-language films for the domestic market.
The marketplace for the Chinese filmmakers is at an all-time high. Audiences are receiving these movies tremendously. They cater to the domestic audience. There are themes that people can relate to. I think it's the heyday right now for Chinese filmmakers. The question becomes, will the Chinese films at any level, whether they be blockbusters or, you know, more interesting type of films, will they travel globally the way the American and or the European films travel?
And that seems to be the question of the moment. Can Chinese themes, fables, humour and taste attract an international audience? After all, despite domestic success, movies such as The Mermaid, released earlier this year, have made little impact on the global market.
If Chinese film can be distributed in the US, your risk get low. If we talk about same investment, your income get doubled, for instance, which will help with filmmaking. But the biggest challenge is how to appeal. If we are able to build a story which will appeal to both markets, that's a real production.
Why I want to make film is because I see it as a language. You know, it's a way that I communicate my idea with the audience. So I definitely want more people to see it. And there's definitely something, you know, between human beings that's universal, that's going to be helpful in this process.
Whether China will outgrow Hollywood and have its stories told to the world is still in question. But when it comes to Sino-US co-production, perhaps it isn't simply about cash-strapped producers in the West making the most of keen investors in the East. There seems to be a deeper plot. And all eyes are on these two players to see how this real-life drama unfolds.
Is it just a marriage of convenience, or is something deeper going on?
Definitely there is something deeper going on. Now we really think we can not only look at each other as capital, power of capital or market. For example, when we look at a project, we are developing the project together. So when we do the financing, when we do the market plan, we need to think about the market of both sides. So we will think about something in two ways. So this is what we mean win-win situation. How to finance, how to produce it, and how to do the post-production, and how to touch your target market. So this is time for us to stop, only think about import films from Hollywood or export Chinese films to abroad. We are starting to do things together from the very beginning stage, and that film is for world market. Yeah.
Song of the Phoenix was obviously one example of an art house film that gained popularity here. Does that go some way in preparing the market here for more interesting co-productions?
I think the Song of Phoenix is something knock the door of the audiences who can understand film better, or especially for domestic market. We need to have the more audiences who can really accept multi-genre of the films. I think this kind of signal for us to look at Chinese film market. So we have multi-genre, and also the market becomes multi-layers, especially the channels of distribution.
Because like Feng Li said, the Chinese film market is still in the beginning stages.
Yes, that is fact. We cannot, escape from that. Chinese market is really in kind of, in the stage of initial development. But so what? That means lots of opportunities. Just as the young filmmakers in the report, I was really agree with her, because I came back from New York as well. So we started to work with international film crew from very beginning. So we have a really global concept of film itself and the market.
So that brings me to my next question. How do you achieve a good co-production? There was a little bit of criticism that too often just Chinese actors are blatantly shoved into a film, and it becomes very obvious that the aim is to attract Chinese audiences.
I think the very, very important thing is for filmmakers from outside to find a partner here. And also, we need to have a very clear market plan from the very beginning.
I mentioned the Russo brothers in the report, but there are many interested parties from Hollywood that have come here to make domestic shows. There is a growing interest. Have you seen that yourself?
That is very hot now, and that is a big trend. So we will face to. That is good. I think why now more and more American producers come to here to make film for domestic market because Chinese market is booming now. So this is fact. For them, there's more opportunities to try different kinds of genre and touch different audiences.
The market is expanding here a great deal. It's poised to be the next biggest film market in the world. But the last quarter saw some contraction. Do you expect that to continue, this slump?
Sometimes when you go further, you experience lower stage. But it's something prepared for going up again. But even when we're going up again, we still need to pay attention to the quality of our films. Now we can foresee that Chinese audiences are waiting for different kinds of genre. There is a big change for co-production market now. So before we do the big budget or superstar casting or big studio product. So now I think it's really good time for us to think about to do small or medium budget co-production with independent Chinese producers or foreign producers.
I'm glad you said that because that's what we're going to talk about after the break. More on the battle of the box office when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back to China Insight. Today on the show, we're looking into the China-Hollywood connection. My guest, Fan Wang, is a seasoned director, especially when it comes to co-productions. She's been shedding some light on how Chinese companies and Hollywood are working together. But what does this cooperation mean for future storylines? Can Chinese films go global? China Insight took to the streets of Beijing to gauge how much expats here knew about Chinese cinema. Let's take a look.
Do you watch Chinese films?
Yes, sometimes I will watch.
I've mainly watched fighting, like martial arts movies.
Not many, no. I think there's a lot of potential.
A lot of people don't really like subtitles.
Me personally, if I understood more in terms of the language, I think it'll be quite on par.
Can you name 3 Chinese actors?
I think the only one I can remember right now is Angela Baby.
Jet Li, Bruce Lee.
Gun Li, right? What's that?
Jet Li.
Jet Li.
It's very difficult. No, I can't.
Oh, is what's his name? The other Jackie Chan.
Everybody knows Jackie Chan, right?
Of course.
Everyone knows Jackie Chan, but there wasn't a wealth of knowledge of Chinese cinema there. Do you think that will change?
So now this is why we really want to find a way to bring Chinese film to outside, let people know more about Chinese film, because we have so many good films, but people don't know that, even cannot mention the actor or actress names. So this is our duty, as a co-production filmmakers.
You know, you've got certain fables in China, say the Monkey King. Now, most Chinese people will be able to tell you the story of the Monkey King, but probably, someone from another country won't be able to.
Monkey King is really good subject, but it's related to history and classical culture in China so deeply. For Western audiences, how can they understand it?
But so isn't part of it about exporting culture anyway?
When they talk about the Kung Fu Panda, the theme of the film is growth, is hope, is dream.
Right.
If encourage, this is what you can do. Once you want to do something, you can do that. So we are trying to find a new way to bring our ideas, not only artistic idea, but also our investment or market idea to them.
It's interesting that you, Fan, and Layla, another young director who was in the report, both feel very strongly about this universality of themes, this idea that you can create a film that appeals to the globe.
Because I got opportunity 13 years ago to work in international film crew with the very top filmmakers who win Academy Awards, I learned a lot from them. Now I start to teach co-production films in universities as a professor. The main reason for me to do that, I want to bring more talents like her or my experience come into this kind of co-production industry, we can try something new. We talk to Hollywood filmmakers or other international filmmakers directly. We won't finish something in China and export it out. From very beginning, we start to work together. So this is really important. So my understanding of co-production is to do the good film for the world, not bring your film to the world. Yeah.
What's the difference?
It's the biggest difference is the content is different, and also the spirit is different, and also that is a different kind of understanding of what film is. This is why I think we need to really calm down and focus on the project, not concept, and start to do that in professional way, and try to respect each other and learn from each other.
Of course, you have this very real, this very practical barrier, which is language. And a lot of people can't stand subtitles. That's the reality of it.
Yeah, subtitle is really a problem. Nobody likes to, watch film with subtitle, me either. So, but subtitle is a way to bring your culture out. That is the way. But once we have a good story, really attractive story, which can touch the audience heart, subtitle or the language barriers becomes less issue. So the subtitle is okay. It depends on how the story is. As a filmmaker, I really feel when I do the film, whether the story can touch me first. Or I won't think about my the box office or other things so early. As a producer, I will think about that. But as a filmmaker, I will keep my original, motivation, why to do that. Leave audience go to cinema. They are looking for something to talk with you deeply, naturally, honestly. They are looking for that. For Chinese film, once we can do more and more that kind of films, so the market will come in, and the investors will have really better return. So this is the key.
Very simply comes down to having a good story.
If it's too related to China or to a certain, certain place, then we will think that is a limitation of market. For co-production film, the subject is really important. So when we look at it, we pay attention to the hidden part of the story. So we are going to do more and more, and I'm trying to build up, the platform for young international filmmakers, let them to come together to talk about how can we work together, how can we bring our new ideas into the film and use our new creative strength to make the film good for international audiences.
Yeah, that's interesting. Nurturing young talent and having fresh ideas seems to be a recurring theme in the discussion about co-productions, especially between China and Hollywood. Thank you very much for coming on the program, Fan Wang.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to talk with you.
If you have any comments or questions, please email us at chinainsight@cctv.com, or you can find us on Facebook, Weibo and WeChat. And we'll see you next time for more stories and discussion on Out of China.